All right, so what is good, guys? I'm here in Long Island, guys, at the one and only Pigeon and Bird Supply. I have the one and only Donna. She's going to be holding it down here today, just helping us out. Today, we're going to talk about different types of medications, different things for different issues that birds come up with. In particular, homing pigeons. And so I just want to quickly introduce Donna. How you doing, Donna? How are you?
Good, thank you. How you doing?
Thank you for the opportunity, especially, to help these new flyers that are out there trying to figure out, when their birds get sick, why, and, what happens, what to do. I want to find out where you're located so that people know, the viewers know. Where are you located?
We're at 148 Lamar Street in West Babylon, New York, on Long Island.
Now, real quick, one thing I want to ask also is, do you ship out medications or do you ship out vitamins, stuff like that?
Our parent company, Global Pigeon Supply, which is located in the Bronx, it's an online purchasing opportunity. So from that location, they're able to ship out anywhere throughout the U.S. and Canada.
And so we're going to go, because you have quite an array of different things. And, I think that's really important because I've experienced different types of sicknesses in my birds in the past. I've had birds that had died on me. I've had birds that have sickness, but I had no idea what it was, and so I couldn't really treat properly. Now, one of the things that I gotta say is that I truly have found a gem. You have that global all-in-one medication, guys, and this is like a lifesaver for all my new flyers out there. It's a broad spectrum antibiotic. Am I correct?
It is. It treats canker, E. coli, typhoid, and also common respiratory symptoms, especially for the homing guys that fly. They get a lot of respiratory issues, coccidosis, and worms. Okay. So this is a great all-in-one preventative.
And it's important because when back when I first started with the birds, I didn't know any about these, all-in-ones. And I would, buy something specifically for respiratory, and it turns out it wasn't respiratory. And then I go and pick up something for cocci, and it wasn't for cocci. Yeah. It turns out it was for worms. You know what I mean? So this actually has everything in one.
You put it in the water, so you're not just treating your one specific bird. It treats the entire flock because most of the time the viruses or bacterial infections travel within each other from the feces or just dirtiness or rodents or for whatever reason. Right. You're treating the entire flock.
In an instance where you don't really know what's happening and then things are going wrong, you would turn to a powder basically and treat the whole stock. Now I noticed that there are a lot of medications that are out from Belgium. Why is that?
Belgium is like the pigeon capital. We carry the line Versilaga from Belgium as well as their line of products. So Belgium happens to really focus on pigeons' health, wellness, vitamins. Their feed is enhanced with pellets, which is more vitamins, and their feed is also premium grade level. So their corn is red corn, and it's an antioxidant. So there's formulas for everything. It's scientifically figured out.
You guys do carry Versilaga as well. You're not only just a medication distribution center. You have quite an array, and we're not even going to get into that today. Maybe we'll do that some other time. But she's got plenty of feed here, guys, from different companies. But Versilaga is definitely one of my favorites. What are the common illnesses that happen with birds or pigeons?
Common illnesses is coccidosis.
Okay.
Canker. There are respiratory, bronchial, and mucus issues. We also have the Adenovirus, which is prominent, as well as parasites, which is worms and lice, bacterial infections, which is like Salmonella and E. coli. So all of the common diseases we have covered.
I know it's hard to say, but it's called cocci. What's the deal with cocci?
Cocci or coccidosis. This problem can be caused by unsanitary conditions in the loft where the pigeons are allowed to nibble on the ground. It's a highly infectious and quite common illness that it actually infects the intestines of the bird. So the first visible symptoms are typically diarrhea. Pretty much all pigeons carry the disease, but most of the adult birds are immune enough to keep the disease at bay and remain healthy. However, the young birds or stress birds can become infected. Stress factors are like racing, showing or relocating the birds, or lack of feed, lack of water.
The next one is worms. It's something that does live inside of their intestines, right? It can diminish their performance, especially when you're racing pigeons.
Exactly. The cause of worms is generally unhealthy hygiene conditions, which mimics a lot of the other problems within your loft, or like letting the pigeons nibble from the ground. With worms, their appetite will be high because the worms will consume all of the nutrition in the pigeon's body. So it's a parasite.
So it's basically eating their nutrients. So they're gonna be eating a lot, but they're just not gonna be possibly gaining weight.
Exactly. The worms will consume most of the nutrients in the pigeon system. So therefore it needs to be treated as such. So some of the symptoms is loss of condition, loss of weight, or even their droppings will look bad.
All right, so I know there's bacterial infections that are, you have to really look out for. One of the major ones is E. coli, and the other one is Salmonella. So what can you say about E. coli and Salmonella?
Salmonella specifically, again, is caused by unsanitary conditions in your loft. It could be contaminated by rodents as well. It also occurs when new pigeons are introduced into the loft. So when you take in a new pigeon, if you're at an auction or you take a pigeon from somebody else's loft, it's important that you isolate them and observe them for like maybe 5 days to ensure that they're healthy. Give them preventative medicine for salmonella.
And give them the E. coli medication, Salmonella medication as a preventative, just in case.
Yeah, well, absolutely, because E. coli is also another bacterial infection. It also greatly reduces the pigeon's immune system. It's like HIV for pigeons, like humans have. It's important that you treat them accordingly.
I know for sure in the past, E. coli has gotten me. As for humans, E. coli is very dangerous for us. So, so it's really, really important to take that one serious in particular, not just with racing pigeons, but also with fancy pigeons as well. And, you mentioned rodents. Rodents really, rats do carry a lot of bacteria. And so it's one of the things you have to really be careful with, having them enter your loft, because they will spread diseases. And so that's good that you mentioned that as well. But E. coli and Salmonella are something to really be concerned about, where you're a racing pigeon guy or a fancier as well. Yeah. So last but not least, sometimes a bird gets a sick eye or eye colds. What kind of medications over there do you have for eye colds?
We have an eye and ear cream. So this is administered to the pigeon in the eye, and it kills all kinds of infections, eye and ear diseases, complicated by like an allergic reaction. And it's just a small little amount in the pigeon's eye, and this predominantly will be the cure for that.
And last but not least, there's one that's called Adenovirus. And I know that is super scary. It could wipe out a whole flock in a matter of 24 hours. Tell me a little bit about that Adenovirus. And I know you have some medications for it up there. What exactly is Adenovirus?
So, well, in the last decade, this has been the biggest problem in especially young birds from like maybe 6 to 9 months old. And 70% of your loft can be effective and have the symptoms. The disease actually starts off adenovirus and then could turn into like a secondary E. coli,
like a secondary infection.
Okay. It actually attacks their central nervous system. You'll get the bird twisting of the head, etc. when it gets beyond the point of recovery. There is no known cure for Adeno-coli. However, there are several products that are effective in keeping it at bay.
There are products that you sell that can actually keep it from developing into a secondary infection. So you're saying usually it's adeno and then it turns into E. coli?
Yeah, that's when it turns really bad into an E. coli. And that's really the point of no return. You really want to pay attention to your young pigeons and treat them accordingly so they don't have that immunity build up because they're so young. So you want to treat them accordingly.
Thank you for this wonderful interview. This is some great insight, guys, because let me tell you, when you're starting out, your birds are going to get sick. And so you need to know what to do when they get sick and how to treat them properly. For my homework guys out there with experience and education, you can maybe possibly medicate them according to whatever symptom they have. It's a little harder, but that comes with experience. When you're inexperienced, everything that you explained today is is going to help people that are just starting out. And so I want to thank you so much, Donna, for this interview. And, you know, I'm sure we could do something a little differently as far as the vitamins and stuff like that in the future. But this was great. You know, I think
thank you.
The illnesses are super important. Once again, where can we find you if we want to come visit New York?
Of course, we're Pigeon and Bird Supply. We have people coming from the tri-state area, hours away to come here.
Yeah, that's Connecticut, Pennsylvania,
Pennsylvania,
New Jersey.
all the way upstate. We do have a pigeon auction every Sunday from 10 to 12, so it gets pretty crowded, and we do a raffle, and we give away, you know, feed, and it's a wonderful opportunity to buy and sell pigeons of all kinds.
Pigeons from all over the world, Iran, I mean, literally all different types of pigeons I've seen here. I mean, things you could never even think of. This is a great place to come to, especially if you want good quality feed, you want good quality medication, as well as a really cool auction on Sundays. Yeah. So, Don, I want to say thank you so much, guys. Thank you for watching, and stay tuned. All right, welcome back, guys. I want to thank Donna for that beautiful interview. And first and foremost, guys, I want to say please subscribe to my channel. Please like my channel. This was a very informative interview, but I just want to touch into these vaccinations, because a lot of the medications that we spoke about, we spoke about, you know, how to treat them, but this is a preventative too, to really get to that next level. So first and foremost, this is a very important one. This is for my pigeon guys out there. Whether you're a fancy pigeon flyer, you know, you show your birds or you race them competitively. This is a big one right here, guys. This one actually vaccinates against paramyxal virus, which is like a nervous disorder, which causes like a paralysis. Circle virus, which circle virus is like an immune deficiency. They usually call it pigeon AIDS. It's like basically what it does is it shuts down your immune system. And then it has adeno. And we all know adenovirus. Adenovirus that's the, well, first and foremost, there's two different types of adenoviruses. Let's talk about that one. The first one it affects young birds, okay? That one is the one that causes your birds to basically a lot of vomiting. And so you have to be really careful with that one. Ultimately, it causes diarrhea and shuts down their bowel movements, causing them to vomit a lot. And most birds recover, but you're going to lose about 30% usually. All right, so important that you vaccinate. All right, this is basically what it is the building block of what the viruses are, so that when it does get into the bird's system, it's recognized by their immune system and it has a better chance of knocking it out. All right, highly recommend this. Next one, pigeon pox. Pigeon pox is important, especially for people who are competitive racers. One of the big things about that is what it causes is scabs. Okay, you can get a scaly little scab or like a wart around the eyes, in the mouth, and that's something that can really hinder a performance bird. So to prevent that, I would highly recommend that you vaccinate for pox. All right, and lastly, rotavirus. Rotavirus is a little tricky, and yeah, you can lose a lot of birds also with rotavirus. It's a newer virus that's just come out recently, and could be, I would say, they're kind of similar to the adenovirus, because what happens is the birds tend to throw up a lot. You usually lose birds within 24 hours after getting it. You'll notice a very heavy crop of water. They'll look a little lethargic, and usually, you know, within 24 hours of having that virus, they're gone. So I highly recommend that you vaccinate for rotavirus. And speaking about adenovirus, guys, there's a second type of adenovirus. That one affects the older birds, okay? That one, what it does is it shuts down their liver, all right? And, you know, you can have perfectly normal birds in your loft. You bring in some new bird, all right, that has the adeno strain, and within 24 to 48 hours, your birds can be wiped out. And it's because they didn't have that resistance to the type 2 adenovirus. All right, so really important, guys, that you don't mess around with vaccinations. I highly recommend that if you do use a needle, make sure you keep everything sterile. Use alcohol. Make sure that your needle is not contaminated. And I would say this is a 3cc. This is pretty good as far as like how much it holds. But they also have these specific types of needles that hold a lot more of the vaccination. So really important that you look into that, and as well as the needle size, guys. I wouldn't recommend anything more than an inch. Half an inch is probably the best as far as as far as length. But being very careful and keeping everything sterile is super important. So I want to thank you guys, for my research and all this stuff. I've really gone in and learned a lot, and I'm hoping that you guys have learned a lot as well. Please like and subscribe my channel, guys. It helps support my channel. It helps keep us learning so we can be better and better, especially for my racing guys, my fancy guys out there. I love doing this, guys, and I know you do too. So keep watching, keep supporting, like and subscribe, and we'll see you at the next one, Houdini style.
Giving them a probiotic to put back the good flora in their body, in their intestines, is extremely important.
Okay, so very, very important to take note. When you're medicating, you also have to have some type of probiotic. 100%.